Students, this is the continuation of the video lectures on the adventures of Toto. Here we are going to witness another mischievous adventure of Toto. An episode took place at Dehradun railway station. So let's get started. Unfortunately, I couldn't accompany grandfather on that trip, but he told me about it afterwards. A big black canvas kit bag was provided for Toto. This, with some straw at the bottom, became his new abode. When the bag was closed, there was no escape. Toto could not get his hands through the opening, and the canvas was too strong for him to bite his way through. His efforts to get out only had the effect of making the bag roll about on the floor or occasionally jump into the yard, an exhibition that attracted a curious crowd of onlookers on the Dehradun railway platform. So here in this paragraph again you see that it was quite unfortunate for the writer as he could not accompany grandfather and Toto on the trip to Dehradun. But however, his grandfather narrated the entire episode of the trip to him later. He made a special bag for Toto, a bag that is made of canvas. Canvas is a heavy rough fabric that is used to make tents, sails, etc. So it was impossible for Toto to bite his way through it. Even the bag had a zipper on the top of it, so he could not escape out of it. So grandfather made sure that when the bag was closed, Toto would not be able to escape out of it. There is no way that he could run away, but Toto made somehow some unsuccessful attempts, and while he was making these unsuccessful attempts, many times the bag would roll on the floor or it would certainly jump in the yard, and these movements were noticed by the onlookers, the crowd present at that time on the railway platform, and it was quite an amusing sight for them, and it attracted their attention then and there and made them curious to know what was inside the bag. Yes, Toto remained in the bag as far as Saharanpur, but while grandfather was producing his ticket at the railway turnstile, Toto suddenly poked his head out of the bag and gave the ticket collector a wide grin. So Toto was there inside the bag till Saharanpur, but while grandfather was producing at the railway turnstile. Turnstile means a mechanical gate, yes, consisting of revolving horizontal arms fixed to a vertical post, allowing only one person at a time to pass through. So you must have seen this kind of turnstile at the railway station or the airport sometimes. Yeah, Toto. Toto remained secure in the grandfather's bag till Saharanpur, but thus, when the grandfather was taking out his ticket to cross the turnstile, at that time Toto poked out of the bag and gave a wide smile to the ticket collector. Well, the poor man was taken back, but with great presence of mind and much to grandfather's annoyance, he said, "Sir, you have a dog with you. You will have to pay for it accordingly." In vain did grandfather take Toto out of the bag. In vain did he try to prove that a monkey did not qualify as a dog or even as a quadruped. Toto was classified a dog by the ticket collector, and 3 rupees was the sum handed over as his fare. Then grandfather, just to get his own bag, took from his pocket our pet tortoise and said, "What must I pay for this since you charge for all animals?" The ticket collector looked closely at the tortoise, prodded it with his forefinger, gave grandfather a pleased and triumphant look, and said, "No charge, it is not a dog." Well, it is again a very humorous episode, but you see that this ticket collector actually was very surprised, was very taken aback. Taken aback, that means astonished to see a monkey in grandfather's bag. He then asked grandfather to pay ticket for money for traveling with a dog. It was the rule of the railway that if you are traveling, yes, by train, and if you are accompanied by a dog, you have to pay price for it. But the grandfather, so with great presence of mind, so he said to the grandfather very intelligently that, "Sir, that you have a dog with you. Now you have to pay for it." In vain did grandfather made some unsuccessful attempt to explain to this ticket collector that Toto was a monkey, not even a dog, not even an animal with 4 feet, quadruped. But the ticket collector was firm and rigid that Toto fell in the category of dogs. Grandfather had to pay 3 rupees for Toto's ticket. Yeah. But grandfather was very much annoyed, So in order to take revenge, that means here the term to get his own back. That means he took from his pocket the pet tortoise. The pet tortoise was there too, and he said, "What must I pay for this? Since you are charging for all the animals, what must I pay for it?" He asked if he was supposed to buy a ticket for it too. The ticket collector took a very close look at the tortoise. He prodded, that means pushed it slightly with his forefinger, and announced the grandfather was not required to buy a ticket for it, as it did not fall in the category of dog. Yeah. So this entire episode, you see that here Ruskin Bond, the author, is actually ridiculing the presence of mind of this ticket collector, who could not even discriminate between a dog and a monkey. Yeah. He was such a sallow-brained and idiotic person, I must say that. Yes. So here you need to be very careful about the sarcastic tone of the writer here. Well, when Toto was finally accepted by grandmother, he was given a comfortable home in the stable, where he had for a companion the family donkey Nana. On Toto's first night in the stable, grandfather paid him a visit to see if he was comfortable. To his surprise, he found Nana, without apparent cause, pulling at her halter and trying to keep her head as far as possible from a bundle of hay. Grandfather gave Nana a slap across her haunches, and she jerked back, dragging Toto with her. He had fastened onto her long ears with his sharp little teeth. Toto and Nana never became friends. Now this is another kind of mischief that actually Toto did here. When grandmother finally came to know about the presence of Toto in the house, she allotted him a space in the stable. The building set apart, adapted for keeping horses, and halter, a strap or loop placed around the head of a horse or other animal, used for leading or tethering it. So here the grandmother actually gave him a space in the stable along with the family donkey. There was a family donkey, Nana, his name. On the first night in the stable, grandfather visited Toto to see whether he was comfortable there or not. And to his surprise, he found that Nana was quite restless, and he was, without any apparent reason, he was continuously pulling her rope around her, pulling her loop placed around the head of a horse and other animal, you can see. So, and trying to keep her head as far as possible from the bundle of hay, the heap of hay. Its rope, in order to stay, heap of hay was there as his food. Now the grandfather, what did he do? Grandfather hit Nana on the back in order to stop it, but Nana jumped back with a jerk. Toto was dragged along with her. He had fastened onto her long ears with his sharp little teeth. That means the Toto had tied himself onto her long ears with his sharp little teeth. He was biting his her long ears with his sharp little teeth, and in this way he had tied himself. He had tied himself on her. Yes. Toto and Nana never became friends. Toto and Nana, after this episode, it is very natural that they never became friends. Again, a great treat for Toto during cold winter evenings was a large bowl of warm water given him by grandmother for his bath. He would cunningly test the temperature with his hand, then gradually step into the bath, first 1 foot, then as he had seen me doing, until he was into the water up to his neck. Once comfortable, he would take the soap in his hands of it and rub himself all over. When the water became cold, he would get out and run as quickly as he could to the kitchen fire in order to dry himself. If anyone laughed at him during this performance, Toto's feelings would be hurt, and he would refuse to go on with his bath. One day, Toto nearly succeeded in boiling himself alive. So, yes, again, here what Toto enjoyed the most in the winter season, the writer is describing it here. Toto in the winter season enjoyed having a very warm bath in the winter evenings particularly, and grandmother gave him a large bowl of warm water for his bath, and he would cleverly actually check the temperature first, just like he would copy the writer and stepped into the tub 1 foot at a time. Finally, he would sit in the water with his face out of it. Then he would rub himself with soap. When the water became cold, he would run out of it to the stove in the kitchen in order to dry himself. Toto even actually got offended. Yeah, he would be hurt if anyone actually, if he was, laughed upon. He would get hurt and then refuse to take bath. The writer actually here recollected this incident, that once incident when Toto almost had boiled himself. So let us read the incident. A large kitchen kettle had been left on the fire to boil for tea, and Toto, finding himself with nothing better to do, decided to remove the lid. Finding the water just warm enough for a bath, he got in with his head sticking out from the open kettle. This was just fine for a while until the water began to boil. Toto then raised himself a little, but finding it cold outside, sat down again. He continued hopping up and down for some time until grandmother arrived and hauled him, half boiled, out of the kettle. So this is a very again a funny incident. In a large kettle, water was boiling on the stove. Well, on the stove, and it was boiling for tea. And Toto, he felt, Toto climbed up to the stove and removed the lid from it, as he had nothing to do. Finding the water just warm enough for a bath, that means he felt that water was very warm enough for him to take a bath, as he used to take bath in warm water. And he got in with his head sticking out from the open kettle. He entered the kettle with his head out of it. When the water started boiling, it became very hot for Toto. He thought of coming out of the kettle, but as the temperature outside was very cold, he stayed in it. But he kept on jumping in the kettle for a while, and then he again entered the kettle. It was when the writer's grandmother hauled him that it pulled him out with great efforts. She took the half-boiled monkey out of the kettle. So yes, again, well, up to this,